Since the publication of the seminal paper The Novel Relationship Between Exotic Hadrons and Gravito-Electromagnetism by the Henshaw Institute for Higher Learning in 003 BCU, the understanding of drift's gravito-electromagnetic effects has been exploited in a myriad of ways, but one of the most useful is in the manufacture of directed paragravity circuits, or DPCs. While toroidal arrangements of drift see widespread use in drift gates and drift drives, their use is largely limited to that of a linear accelerator, creating a directed paragravitic field used to accelerate that which passes through the coil. For emulating the surface gravity of planets without the need for centrifuges, the more commonly employed solution is the DPC. Two plates of drift, which once a current is applied to them in a closed circuit, create a homogeneous paragravitic field between them. By installing this twin set of plates on the floor and ceiling of a spacecraft deck, it is possible to create the illusion of gravity without either the need of constant acceleration or of centrifugal force. By further installing two other sets of plates, it then becomes possible to create three independent fields on the X, Y, and Z axis, which can be combined in order to create a field pointed at any desired orientation. In this way, a ship can compensate for inertial forces by actively varying its internal paragravity fields. This technique is known as inertial dampening. The combat applications of inertial dampeners are immediately obvious. Ships accelerating under high G burns put undue strain on their crews. By engaging the Z-axis DPCs opposite to the direction of perceived acceleration, the G-force felt by the crew can be substantially lowered. The widespread usage of DPCs, however, is hampered by a multitude of factors, primarily drift's sometimes prohibitive costs. Its high price per kilogram leads to the majority of ships equipped with inertial dampening to use monoaxial DPCs, which use substantially less material than the triaxial system. Despite this, it would be over 2 centuries since the discovery of drift until DPCs would begin to see non-experimental use in spacecraft, with the first monoaxial inertial dampening equipped military craft having their keels laid in the early 2010s. In the decades since, their use by military vessels has increased, especially in newer models, and even a few luxury civilian craft have begun incorporating them into their designs, but sheer cost and for civilian ships limited use cases have prevented their widespread adoption. Further limiting its widespread deployment is a fundamental property of drift. The strength of its generated paragravitic field is proportional to its mass and the current passing through it. Drift, however, suffers from resistive heating, like any other conductor. Passing too strong a current through it can cause the drift to heat to searing temperatures, risking degradation, also known as burnout. This limiting factor has led to the separation of DPCs into two distinctive types: steady-state DPCs, more commonly known simply as gravity plating, and the aforementioned inertial dampeners. Steady-state DPCs utilize larger masses of drift and are designed for constant operation at a specific field strength, most commonly 1G. They cannot create as intense a field as an inertial dampener, but can maintain their field indefinitely. Inertial dampener DPCs, meanwhile, use smaller amounts of drift in their construction, but their power supplies can create fields of very high strengths, though only for a very short duration. If a ship suffers an impact or sudden acceleration, the inertial dampeners will be able to compensate for it, but if it is repeatedly so taxed in too short of a time, it risks a burnout. This burnout process usually does not happen all at once, but can often lead to a cascade of failures that calls for the very expensive replacement of the burnt-out units. Inertial dampeners can be used as steady-state DPCs, but for a finite amount of time. In warships, this is almost always used during high G burns, to bring down apparent G-forces inside the ship to a level in which the crew can still operate efficiently. Their use in any other circumstance is severely frowned upon, as it drastically reduces the mean time to failure of one of the most expensive systems in any modern ship. Thank you for watching. You can get the Sojourn through various distributors, all of which are accessible through www.thesojournaudiodrama.com. You can also get the series through Patreon, where you'll be able to access various bonus features, including our visual dictionary, Guinevere cross-sections, and anthology shorts. Remember to join us on Discord and get regular updates on all upcoming Sojourn releases. All the related links can be found below this video. Fair winds.